open packs, pick your team, and crush the competition. This is next level fantasy football. It's free to play. There's £125,000 up for grabs. Download the app today at ultimatefan.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ultimate Fan Fix. I'm Tom Pearce and I'm joined by my Ultimate Fan colleague, Dominic Chapman. And with us today is the Scotland ambassador, Paul Black. Paul, how are we?
All right, not too bad. Still suffering slightly from last night's ultimate defeat, but moving on.
Yeah, so what was sort of the emotion after last night's game?
You know, it was the game was so intense. It was like everybody was on the edge of their seat, and it was such a roller coaster because initially when we got Croatia were 1-0 up, but when we got the equaliser, it was honestly the most euphoric feeling. It was because as soon as Croatia had scored that first goal, it was like, okay, it's over. The dream is over. We'd all accepted that. Everyone was like, I might not even watch the rest of the game. And just reading on Twitter as well, it was just such a like heartbreaking moment. But when that equaliser goal came in from Cal Mack, as we would call him, it really just brought the spirits up. And I think a bit of delusion kicked in again. And we were really hopeful going into the second half. I thought maybe Croatia had underestimated us, and this was a real chance to bring it back and actually change the competition and our view on the competition, how far Scotland actually would go. Because I know a lot of this time we've been all saying, yeah, Scotland's going to win. Scotland's going to take the full tournament, but I think we were all well aware that we were just, kind of talking ourselves up just for the sake of it. But there was a real feeling of hope going into the second half, and then it just went rapidly downhill and got worse and worse. So, yeah.
It's the hope that kills you, I suppose, Paul, isn't it? But it's also those moments of elation and then desperation at the same time, and it does entice you, and it really, I think particularly in Scotland, I mean, you only have to hear what the kind of the Scottish players have said. It feels, only though it's been a short term of events, that they've really captured the public's imagination for this tournament, and the long term kind of possibilities for this side, because they're still a young team, aren't they? And it could be a good early and a good stepping stone for there to be more progress for Scotland moving forward.
Definitely. It's the whole experience has been a positive one. And I think the feeling alone of getting that equalising goal there, it was worth it all. See, even I went online and I watched it at home, but I went online and seen clips of crowds reacting to that. It was such a good feeling. And even getting to this stage, we're all really proud. And obviously, I'm not going to pretend that we're not disappointed. It is heartbreaking, and watching that as a thing with watching Scotland as a football team, and it always has been the way, is you're ready for disappointment, and it is the hope that kills you, because as soon as you do get a bit of traction, you do start to convince yourself that maybe now is the time, and especially, like you said, with a younger team now, and getting to this point in the Euros for the first time in 23 years, we were all very hopeful. But people say all the time, watching Scotland is just a heartbreaking game.
I mean, at least you sort of weren't knocked out as the team that didn't score any goals after yesterday. Was that goal sort of was a better feeling than getting the draw against England last Friday?
I would say they were quite equal in feelings of euphoria, because a big highlight of this entire experience was not losing against England. And I'd mentioned before, just on a WhatsApp chat, that we were celebrating that like we won the draw against England, because I think it was a lot to do with the kind of maybe arrogance of some of the pundits, and online as well, just reading people like, Scotland, we're going to win 6-0. And neither of us got a goal. So to me, that was, into the full country, that was a win in itself. And it certainly was. The environment in the pub that I was in, and then I was in the city centre of Glasgow, and it was honestly crazy. People were being sent home by the police. There was riot vans. People were going nuts. for that draw against England. So maybe that was a slightly better feeling than getting the goal, but both fantastic moments.
It looked like you had a few shandy, shall we say? I'll ask the design team to put the selfie you sent up into the WhatsApp chat on the screen now, hopefully. So obviously, yeah, a fantastic night, and I suppose just being able to frustrate England the way they did. I suppose we can talk about the positive aspect from Scotland from this tournament, and England obviously have gone on to win the group, but yet we're still south of the border, not being able to kind of claim a scalp over Scotland, and that's probably they can bid farewell, but they can all they're not so much with their tail between their legs, because obviously England haven't been able to pick up 3 points against them.
Exactly, and I think as well there is this kind of notion, at least it seems this way in Scotland, where we know that Scotland aren't the world's best team, and we would never claim that they are, and the only time we're doing that is just to kind of noise up England fans. But it does feel like a lot of English, I'm probably speaking to a lot of English people watching this, so I'm going to get blacklisted, but a lot of England fans do have that belief that they are like untouchable almost, and that they are is the best team in the world, and it's, if they really are the best team in the world and Scotland are so terrible, how could you not beat us? How could you not get a goal against us? But yeah, so there was definitely some joy in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's the 11th time now that like in a row that Scotland have been knocked out in the group stages. And as you mentioned earlier, with the young squad, are you sort of excited for the World Cup qualifiers and that now?
Definitely. I mean, I think Scotland played incredibly in the England match, and our defence has been so incredible this full time as well, that it does give you a lot of hope for the future. I did see just after last night's match when Callum McGregor was saying that we're looking forward now to World Cup qualifiers, I did think about I had that initial feeling of, right, okay, calm down, slow down. But why not? Why should I feel that way? Because we made it this far, and who knows what the future holds for a new, fresh, young team that have a lot to offer and have proved ourselves to kind of break the mold of the kind of Scottish curse that's been with us for so long.
I suppose the fact that it's obviously in Qatar as well, isn't it? Next around our winter time.
Oh yeah.
When I guess the players are almost at kind of the peak of their powers, because they're match fit. A lot of players, particularly in the British leagues, obviously just come off long, domestic competitions, both in the SPL and in the Premier League. So, not obviously sat here saying that either Scotland or England are going to win the World Cup, but they may even, fare better. And obviously, Europe, I think, as we were saying, Paul, maybe on the first chat, dominated the World Cup, and the 4 semi-finalists in 2018 were all from Europe. So perhaps in a more open tournament, England had Panama in 2018. There certainly was no Panama in our group, this campaign, was there? So, I mean, like you say, who knows? And obviously dare to dream, particularly if you're a Scotland fan at the moment.
Absolutely. And I mean the Euro is the competition is so strong. It's something, the world's best teams are in Europe, a lot of them are, and it feels like you're fighting a losing game there, and having come so far now, that does make you think that there is a chance of us getting somewhere in the World Cup. And again, I'm not going to go say Scotland's just going to go from qualifying the Euros for the first time in 23 years to actually fully winning the World Cup. Not that delusional, but I'll still support them as if they are going to do that, and the full country will be behind them, because there has been such a amazing vibe that I mentioned in the last interview we did in the full country, and it's like everywhere you look, there's an advertisement about Scotland and the Euros, and every brand and every Instagram campaign, and it's just everywhere. So I did think a bit, actually, when we were knocked out last night. I was like, a lot of these people will be like, oh God, what do we do now? We've put thousands of pounds into these marketing campaigns. But we'll do it again. We'll do it again when it comes to the World Cup.
Absolutely, they will. Well, I suppose going back to a slightly more divisive side of things, one of the questions I thought would be funny to ask you based on our first interview was obviously Callum McGregor scoring Scotland's goal yesterday, and an early domestic scalp, if you like, for Celtic over Rangers at this year's Euro 2020.
Well, yeah, that was definitely a highlight. And a bigger highlight for me was getting my granddad, who's a very staunch Rangers fan, to see him cheer for it, and also to admit me that Tierney is a great player. And I met him saying to him, I was like, "Oh, wow, you're really admitting that now?" And he's like, "Because he plays for Arsenal. That's why he's a great player." But yeah, it was that was definitely nice to see, and also felt good to chant for a Celtic player after the terrible season we've had. So felt nice.
Yeah, I know exactly how it feels. Like obviously I'm a Villa fan, so watching Grealish play yesterday. I don't know, it just makes you feel a bit proud almost. So yeah, when you saw that go in, it was wicked. But big question now, Paul: who are you supporting for the rest of the Euros?
Literally anyone who's England's biggest competition. No. I don't know. I've always seen, because I've not had the opportunity to support Scotland, I often side with Germany, and I don't know why. I just kind of have always admired the team, and I'm going to keep rooting for them. But I did think about maybe just looking up the favourite, because right now it's France, isn't it? France are probably most highly favoured to win, and I thought maybe I'll just back the favourite to avoid disappointment now. I did also, after the game last night, I did rather pathetically go on my Instagram and archive all my pictures from my holiday to Croatia a few years ago.
A lovely holiday destination, I've heard by all accounts anyway, but I'm sure you won't be in there. You won't be on a flight to Zagreb anytime soon, will you?
Nah, I'll need to have some time to process it. Maybe when we're actually allowed to go, I will have gotten over it.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned Germany. England could well sort of face Germany in the next round as well. Will you be supporting Wales with them being a home nation and sort of another sort of little brother almost to England?
Definitely. I'm like you mentioned it in our last interview as well, that they do have their kind of the kind of star player that Scotland was missing, and I think that actually gives you more hope in a way that you think they actually could go a lot further than we did. And yeah, obviously I will always support someone who lives in the shadow of England. I've really came across very anti-English, and that's once again my boyfriend is English, and it's really, really an awkward time for us right now. But
is he into his football, Paul?
No, he doesn't care, but he did when we were playing England. He was like, "I'll just come with you," and I was like, "No, you won't." I was like, "For your safety, I'm not going to have." And he was online ordering like vintage England tops, and I was like, "Stop that right now! You've got no way to wear that."
That would be a dangerous walk down Sauchiehall Street, wouldn't it?
Well, I actually seen someone in the pub I was in wearing an England top, one guy, and I just thought, this guy's got death wish, but he seemed to get out unscathed.
Exactly. Well, he didn't have a lot to shout about, did he? So I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if England had scored a few goals, maybe he would have had to worry.
So yeah, group 3 sort of starts on Saturday, or depends when this goes out. It might have already started. So Paul, how's your team looking?
Well, I'm currently in under 6,000th place. So I will say it's probably not looking great. I also missed the transfer window. I accidentally I'm going to get up right now to see if I can.
You've got De Bruyne, and obviously he's been in sparkling form for Belgium, hasn't he? I think Tom might be able to correct me. He's scored he scored just the once.
Yeah, he scored against Denmark.
I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he got an assist against Denmark as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my team. I wonder, do I get the option to change country? No, I'm stuck.
If you pack, I think you can pack another country. So hopefully
you'll
be able to do that. Yeah.
Hopefully, I just end up with France tomorrow. But yeah, at the moment, Turkey is. Actually, I haven't kept up to date with how Turkey are doing. I'm obviously not very committed to my team. This isn't good.
I think
I would
Turkey
not
are
be a manager that
redundant.
would take them to the. I would not be the ideal manager to take them to the best.
Turkey are redundant now, aren't they? I think they flattered to the seed, didn't they? And despite looking really good in qualifiers, I think they've lost. They lost every single group game, didn't they?
That's nothing to do with me, Turkey. Don't blame me.
If you pack France, though, obviously you're laughing, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Fingers crossed.
And Eden Hazard as well, obviously another Belgian sort of superstar on the other side. I mean, he hasn't had the most memorable season in a Real Madrid top, but I think he was another with an assist in that Denmark game, Tom. And of course, when he's someone that you see, whether that be on FIFA or on Ultimate Fan, he's obviously a very sort of positive player to have in your side, isn't he?
I think as well, I'm looking to. I accidentally transferred my forward when I shouldn't have, because I have. Is it Schick?
Schick, yeah.
Yeah.
He accidentally took him off, and I want him back. I'm waiting for the transfer window to open again. I've got 4 hours.
Was that because he scored 2 goals against Scotland, was it?
That is the exact reason. I thought, you know what? If we can't beat them, I'll join them.
Yeah.
Well, I see that you've got a couple of German players on the bench as well. So, say if England do play Germany, you're going to stick them in the team, hoping that they'll, grab a goal and assist each, or.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Even if they lose, I want to take my chances here. I wonder what will happen if I get an England player. They'll be sitting on the bench.
He'll be on the bench, yeah, absolutely. It could be our best player, but I think you would bench him.
Yeah, I really do need to get over this, don't I? I need to think tactically, and I'm not doing it. I'm thinking with my heart.
Thinking with your heart, exactly. You've got Isak as well, obviously the Swedish forward, and at the time of recording, Sweden are currently top of their group. So he's likely to be another figure who we'll see sort of further down the tournament as well. I think I've just read that Spain have just gone 2-0 up as well. So Spain, another team likely to progress into the round of 16. Of course, they've just got some fantastic players, haven't they? The names as well, they just roll off the tongue so well. So I imagine that would be a bit of you, Paul.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm a big fan of Spain, and I think that if I get any Spanish players, I'm going to really diversify my team now. I think I've played it safe, and by playing it safe I mean barely changed anything and not really knew what I was doing. Now I'm just going to get as many players from as many different countries, because tactically I'm thinking that puts me in an all right spot, because I don't need to worry too much if one country's losing.
Yeah,
So I've got one for, even though I've only got, you're only allowed 6 players, but I'll try my best. I currently have 12 points in this stage, which I think isn't great.
So, I think that might be better than me.
So the next time we speak, if you're sort of in 3,000th place, is that progress?
Definitely. And then it could all change. You never know. I could wake up tomorrow and be in 2nd place.
You could well be.
I'm relying on delusion once again.
Delusions of grandeur. There we go.
It is.
Fantastic, Paul. It's obviously been a tinge of sadness that Scotland haven't been able to progress into the round of 16. But obviously we've kind of loved just watching their journey, so far. And again, obviously that kind of the way they frustrated England, I'm sure will be the glimmer of positivity from their Euro 2020 journey. Obviously, we'll still look forward to hearing from you. Looking forward to seeing you hopefully move into at least 5,000th in the Ultimate Fan charts by the next time we catch up. And we'll look forward to speaking to you soon. And obviously, take care until then.
Great, thank you. Fingers crossed for 5,000th place.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Tom.